Hello, namaste, and welcome back to my channel. It's third episode, and in third episode, we'll be talking about English literature, the book from English literature. And the first book that I picked is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So let's talk about Jane Austen first. So Jane Austen was born in 1775 in December 16 in Hampshire, England, and she had written almost 6 novels. And these novels are Sense and Sensibility, Persuasion, Emma, Mans Parkfield, Pride and Prejudice. So these are her works, and she had always in every work she had always questioned about the capability of a woman and why it seems to be like marriage is a social security to a woman. So even in this book, as its name says, Pride and Prejudice, this talks about our pride and prejudices to the people. So there are a few characters in the book, so let's talk about character now. So the first character, the main lead of this story is Elizabeth Bennet, who is the second daughter of Bennet family. There is a head of the family, Mr. Bennet, and Mrs. Bennet, and there is the eldest sister who is very understanding and beautiful. She is Jane Bennet, and the third is Lydia Bennet, and then there is Lydia Bennet and Catherine Bennet and Mary Bennet. So these are overall characters of the family, and there are a few rich guys who are looking for girls and everything. So that these characters are Mr. Darcy, and another character is Charles Bingley, and there is another very important character of this story is Caroline Bingley. So Caroline Bingley is a sister of Charles Bingley, who is very attracted to Mr. Darcy. So let's talk about a story now. So Mr. Bennet, owner of the Longbourn estate in Hertfordshire, has 5 daughters, but his property is entailed and can only be passed to a male heir, and his wife lacks an inheritance, so his family faces becoming poor upon his death. Thus it is an imperative that at least one of the daughter marries well to support the others, which is a motivation that drives a plot. And this is Pride and Prejudice has consistently appeared near the top of the list of the most loved book of all time, and among the literary scholars and the reading public, it has become one of the most popular in the English literature, with over 20 million of copies sold, and has inspired many derivatives in the modern literature. For more than a century, dramatic adaptations and reprints and unofficial sequels, films and TV versions of the Pride and Prejudice has portrayed the memorable characters and themes of the novel and reaching mass audiences. So plot, let's talk about a plot of the story now. In the early 19th century, the Bennet family live at their Longbourn estate, situated near the village of the Maryton in Hampshire, England. And Mrs. Bennet's greatest desire is to marry off her 5 children in order to secure their futures. The arrival of Mr. Bingley, a rich bachelor who rents the neighboring Netherfield estate, gives her hope that one of her daughters might contract to an advantageous marriage, because it is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of wife. So at a ball, the family is introduced to the Netherfield party, including Mr. Bingley, his 2 sisters, and Mr. Darcy, his dearest friend. And Mr. Bingley's friendly and cheerful manner earns him popularity among the guests. He appears interested in Jane and the eldest Bennet daughter. Mr. Darcy, reputed to be twice as wealthy as Mr. Bingley, is haughty and aloof, causing a decided dislike of him. He declines to dance with Elizabeth, and the second eldest Bennet daughter, as she is not handsome enough. Although she jokes about it with her friend, Elizabeth is deeply offended. Despite this first impression, Mr. Darcy secretly begins to find himself drawn to Elizabeth as they continue to encounter each other at social events, appreciating her wit and frankness. So Mr. Collins, the heir to the Longbourn estate, visits the Bennet family with the intention of finding a wife among the 5 girls under the advice of his patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh, also revealed to be Mr. Darcy's aunt. He decided to pursue Elizabeth. The Bennet family meet the charming army officer George Wickham, who tells Elizabeth in confidence Mr. Darcy's horrible past actions in his regards, and Elizabeth, blinded by her prejudice towards Mr. Darcy, believes him. So the story at the end become that the prejudice of Elizabeth Bennet and the pride of Mr. Darcy, how they come out of it because of love. So this is the summary of the story. So this book is definitely not a easy book to read because I've read it multiple times, and I think this was my third time of reading it. And because it is so so old book in English literature, it takes a time to understand the book. And as Jane Austen had written all about how the society seems for a woman, and how the society is for women, and she had written it so beautifully that I think those who are very interested in literature should really read this book for sure. So thank you so much for watching.